New at 11, the Material Girl is getting slammed from all sides.
There's a major recall of two of America's most popular pickup trucks.
And the question is it a cat, a rabbit, or both?
Hey, we do have a drying trend coming our way, but it's going to get quite a bit cooler. I'll have the full forecast on New at 11.
Now, live, the #1 news in the Capital District. Liz Bishop, Marty Aarons, Kyle Kraska, and meteorologist Neal Estano. This is News Center 6 New at 11.
Good evening. New at 11 tonight, Madonna is dancing her way back into the center of controversy. Ed O'Brien joins us live now from the Albany County Airport with some people who are just back from the premiere of the Material Girls World Tour.
Liz, 3 members of the Colvin family from Skodak. In fact, they are just back in town literally seconds ago. I just talked to them as they got off the plane to tell me about this show. A very important show in terms of Madonna, whose commercial appeal has dropped off a little bit in the past few months. In fact, the British press, after seeing this show, started calling her the immaterial girl. Now, Bobby, Wembley Stadium. His dad went along, too, so the free trip cost him about $3 grand. Was there any part of the show where your folks said, hey, you can't look at this?
Not really, except for the beginning. She came out naked.
when the girl ever slid down that pole. And
without any clothes on.
Right. I said, ooh, maybe we better leave now. But no, we stuck it out, and it got milder after that.
She put on a good show.
So you said...
Personally, she's not my cup of tea, but she puts on a good show.
You sound like a Madonna convert.
No, not really. It's, like I said, she puts on a good show. I wouldn't spend money to go see her, though.
That actually is pretty strong praise coming from Bob Colvin, who had told a Daily News reporter on the flight over to London, I think she's trash. We'll get to see for ourselves, Liz, next month. Madonna is doing 3 shows. They are all sold out at Madison Square Garden in New York.
Well, I imagine some people will get to see. I'm surprised that they didn't think perhaps it was offensive for their 13-year-old son.
Well, they thought it was a little bit risque, but you know how teenagers are these days. They know a little bit more than, say, we did when we were teens.
I don't know. All right. Ed O'Brien, thanks.
And we'll follow that up. The Material Girl is involved in yet another controversy, or at least an advertisement featuring her photograph is. Members of a Catholic civil rights group are fuming over bus stop ads in New York City that picture Madonna, the singer, alongside Madonna The Virgin. The difference between you and your parents, reads the advertisement for the music television channel VH1. Well, Catholics protesting the ad say they've crossed the line. They've put a religious symbol on public property and held it up to ridicule. VH1 has had no immediate comment on the matter.
A major recall to tell you about tonight concerning 2 of America's most popular pickup truck manufacturers. Ford is recalling more than 1 million F-Series full-size pickups, model years 1990 through 1993, with gasoline engines and dual fuel tanks. The company says there is the potential for fuel leaks and fires. And GM is recalling 76,000 1994 full-size pickups and vans to inspect reported problems with the brakes. They're also recalling 1988 through 1992 model full-size 4-wheel drive pickups and 1990 through 1992 model all-wheel drive mid-size vans, both for reported brake problems. Now, both companies say that there have been no reports of serious injuries due to these problems.
Miami police say they don't have a motive in the weekend shooting death of another out-of-state visitor. 40-year-old Miguel Sanchez of New York was shot to death last night while he was driving to a restaurant with relatives.
The lady who was sitting in the back seat observed the subject's vehicle drive up on the passenger side of the car. She saw the driver produce a firearm, and 1 shot was fired through the passenger window of their vehicle, striking Mr. Sanchez in the head.
The attack follows the slayings of 10 foreign tourists in Florida in just the past year.
Marty, although the AAA isn't officially warning people to stay away from Florida now, it is putting a safety tip brochure into every customer's triptych starting tomorrow. The safety tips apply to all tourists.
We're putting this new pamphlet we have, Playing It Safe, in the triptychs as a precautionary measure for our members, regardless of where they're traveling in the United States, to take some extra care when traveling. to, for instance, be sure and keep your gas tank full at all times, to stay on the main highways. Of course, never pick up a hitchhiker. Several tips like that are in this little book, and we hope that it's going to help people have a safer journey.
Those Playing It Safe brochures will be available at AAA starting tomorrow.
Albany police right now are on the scene of a shooting in the city's south end. 3 men described as being in their teens are the prime suspects. At least one of them pulled a handgun and shot another man on 3rd Avenue about 10:15 tonight. The 18-year-old victim, whose name is not being released at least yet, is from New York City but has been living on 10 Broke Street. The 3 suspects fled on foot towards Clinton Avenue. The victim, we're told, is in fair condition with a superficial wound to his back and other injuries to both head and face. Israel's peace agreement with the PLO is still in its infancy, but not everybody wants it to grow up. Herbert Zwiebon is chairman of the Americans for a Safe Israel. He came to SUNY in Albany tonight to talk about the problems that he sees with the peace agreement. He says Israel is giving too much up in its future.
The strongest military power in the Middle East is in fact relinquishing the capability of that power by reducing itself militarily, geographically, in the hope that this risk for peace will pay off.
Zwiebon says under the agreement, Israel is much too dependent on the U.S. for security, and he says he's not sure the American people are ready for that.
Well, a break in the weather for the very hard-hit Midwest leads our New at 11 World Wrap tonight. Weather forecasters say the heavy rains have ended for now in parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. Still, not all the rivers have stopped rising. The National Guard evacuated dozens of residents in northeastern Oklahoma today as 2 rivers went over their banks. Some flooded-out families in Kansas were allowed back in their homes, although there's not much to return to. And 3 people in Missouri were killed in the flooding.
President Clinton is spelling out the terms for U.S. involvement in Bosnia. Following his address today to the opening session of the United Nations, Mr. Clinton told reporters the U.S. is willing to be a part of a UN peacekeeping force if there's a clear political strategy and if Congress gives its okay. The president also wants to reserve his right to end American involvement.
A U.S. senator from Texas is in some legal hot water tonight. A grand jury in Austin indicted Republican Kay Bailey Hutchison on charges of official misconduct while she was state treasurer. She's also accused of tampering with government records and evidence. She has denied the wrongdoing. Incidentally, she was scheduled to show up at an Alphonse D'Amato fundraiser in New York City tonight, but she called it off.
Lawrence Powell and Stacy Kuhn have received a reprieve. The 2 L.A. police officers had surrendered to start 30-month prison terms for their roles in the Rodney King beating. They now have been released. A federal judge freed them while their attorney appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court.
We'll check with Neil. He has first forecast for Tuesday. Neil?
We are going to be seeing a slightly drier day, but not a lot of sunshine. We had a lot of rain today, about 3/10 of an inch. And the rain gauge here at the on the weather patio, some locally heavy rain across eastern New York and western New England tonight, too. But all the rain has moved out for the time being. Tomorrow, though, expect lots of clouds, maybe a glimpse of sunshine, and scattered showers. So a potpourri of weather tomorrow. Highs will be getting up into the mid-60s by afternoon. Enjoy the relatively mild weather because we have some very cool weather coming up or later in the week. Coldest air of the season. I'll tell you about that in a few more minutes.
Well, it has been raining cats and dogs. And speaking of cats, here's one for our Believe It or Not file. In Marion, Indiana, they claim they have bred an animal that's half cat and half rabbit, a cabot, if you will. It has the face and ears of a cat, but seemingly the back legs of a rabbit. Oh, does it run or hop as it moves through the grass? Well, I guess it depends on which way you look at it. As long as he's not uncomfortable, I don't know.
Seems kind of mean to me.
Yeah, it doesn't seem, I mean, what's the point? Maybe there is one and we don't know.
We don't know it yet.
Right.
All right, well, just ahead in New at 11 Plus, it's called Bridge Fashion. You'll see how it could span the gap between your budget and the expensive designer clothes.
And here's a look at some of tonight's winning lottery numbers. We'll be back. Fashion designers have made their mark and their money selling high-end goods to the very rich. But faced with escalating careers and budgets, women are now passing up the haute couture, and as a result, fashion as we know it may never be the same.
That's right. 6 on your side consumer reporter Kelly Boland takes a look at Bridge Fashions in tonight's New at 11 Plus.
If you're like most women, the fashions that come down the runways in Paris, Milan, and New York often leave you wondering who is supposed to wear these things.
No, not me. No. No. Maybe on about the runway model or something.
According to a recent survey, 53% of women say many of these lines have no influence on what they buy. But that is about to change. Burned by the failure of outrageous and expensive fashion looks, designers are taking inspiration from a new source, consumers. The result? New designer lines called Bridge that offer realistic and comfortable fashions at affordable prices.
Women today have a lot more assurance about themselves when they go out to shop. They know what their lifestyle is, what their needs are, and how much they want to spend. And Bridge certainly has helped in this area. There's a lot more freedom in the choices. It's less dictatorial.
From Donna Karen's DKNY to Ellen Tracy, sales of Bridge lines are booming. The reason? They provide women with the clothing they wanted all along.
We are very realistic about what real modern women need for their wardrobes, what's important to them, what works for them.
While Bridge offers new fashion looks, the key to its success is comfortable clothing at affordable prices, made possible by the use of fabrics like denim and cotton knits.
One of the ways that we've seen a lot of designers deal with the question of affordability is by using high-quality fabrics that they know the consumer will appreciate in terms of their function and their wearability. And certainly that brings into mind cotton.
In this new age of the consumer, fashion is becoming more responsive. And while designers will always redefine the cutting edge, today that creativity will also provide fresh fashions that any woman would want to wear. For New at 11, I'm 6 on Your Side consumer reporter Kelly Boland.
Still expensive, though, those Bridge fashions. I mean...
No blue light special there.
No, comparatively speaking. I mean, you know, usually a couple $100 at least.
They're out of touch, I think. All right, let's continue. In just a minute, you'll see the damage left behind by a storm system that included tornadoes.
Neil will have that and our forecast as well. Neil?
Yeah, part of the big storm system that affected our weather caused that tornado. I'll be back to explain that and tell you what we have down the pike next.
News Center 6 weather is sponsored by Tire Warehouse.
Going to turn off the faucet. I know we had a lot of rain today, but tell me it's winding down.
Well, yeah, it is winding down for us as far as rainfall goes. But the areas today that got the rain are the areas that were very dry all summer. So this is good, replenishes the groundwater over in Columbia County. Berkshire County had lots of rain, upwards of 1.5 inches of rain in some spots across extreme eastern New York and western New England. Well, the rain is winding down. The rain has pretty much stopped across the region. 39/100ths of an inch of rainfall at the Albany County Airport. Get up to 67 today, midday. Low 57 with 39/100ths of an inch of rainfall. Right now, we're looking at cloudy skies. It is 57 with a south wind. And our humidity right up there, 97% with a dew point 56, 29/68. I want to show you what happened down in Philadelphia area. Whole mid-Atlantic coast hard hit with some big thunderstorms. This was a tornado that ripped through Philadelphia, pulled a tree right out of the ground, landed on a house. It was a F0, the weakest hurricane on the scale, and people were just amazed what that quick wind did to their neighborhood. Also around Washington, D.C. had a tornado down there. Also big thunderstorms today across New York City, Long Island, Connecticut, and southeastern Massachusetts. Severe thunderstorm watches were issued for that region earlier today. There are some showers across western New York. I think we'll be seeing some of these late tonight, especially out around Herkimer County. From about Amsterdam on west, could be seeing some showers late tonight, too. A big fetch of moisture coming in from the south, and that brought us a heavy rain today across extreme southeastern areas of our viewing area. But on the backside, cooler, drier air starting to move on through. However, lots of clouds out here. Detroit, lots of clouds. Out to around Minneapolis, lots of clouds today, and cool. But it was cold enough for snow across extreme northern Minnesota. Right now, it's 37 degrees and snowing up in International Falls. And some of that cool air is going to start spilling on south on Wednesday. We could be seeing some snow flurries north of the Mohawk Valley by Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night. It's going to be that cold, folks. Here it comes. But for tomorrow, lots of clouds, scattered showers, breezy tomorrow. High temperatures will be in the 60s, but 50s off in western New York. Back with more on the forecast right after this. All right, a few scattered showers overnight tonight. Areas of fog. Some of the fog could be quite thick in the low to mid 50s. And tomorrow, expect to see lots of clouds once again. Scattered showers here or there. Northwest wind, a cool day, low 60s. Now for tomorrow night, we'll clear out, at least partially, and cool, low of 43 degrees. For Wednesday, big changes coming up. Mostly cloudy, breezy, cool, high near 61. That should occur early in the day with temperatures falling throughout the afternoon. Rain showers possible, snow showers over the Adirondacks late on Wednesday into early Thursday. Some very cool air coming our way with highs only around 50 on Thursday. Once again, tomorrow's 6-degree guarantee, 60 to 65 degrees. So how about that? Some chilly stuff.
Chilly stuff. Still have to get the chimney cleaned. I'm going to do that
Chimney?
soon. You know, the thing.
The thing, yes.
All right. See you later.
Okay.
Hey, you won't want to miss Letterman tonight. It's a big one. Actor Matthew Broderick and musical guest Neil Diamond.
And jockey Julie Crone will be there. That's of interest to all of us, especially Kyle.
Absolutely. I don't think the Yankees are going to be on that telecast, though. They were trying to avoid the inevitable tonight in Baltimore and keep some distance between themselves and third place. Highlights from Camden Yard are on the way, so stick around.
News Center 6 Sports is sponsored by Chrysler Jeep Eagle.
Well, this season's wrapping up with a real sense of futility for the Yankees, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much so. Although you can't complain that this is the final week of the season, and technically they're still alive. Mathematically, you know, before tonight's action started, that's not all that bad. You know, if nothing else, the Yankees would at least like to see the Blue Jays earn their way into baseball's postseason rather than handing them the ticket on the silver platter. That was part of the incentive tonight in Baltimore. The other part was a determination to finish no worse than second place. After all, the Birds are just a game and a half in third. An old friend, Willie Randolph, out on a drizzly evening at Camden Yards tonight. The Yankees soak up a couple of runs here in the top of the welcome frame. Danny Tartagle coming through with a base hit to right center. James and Mattingly score, giving Scott Kamenicki a 2-run lead. But he gives one back in the second. Harold Baines with a first pitch homer to right, make it 2-1, New York still in front. Then in the third inning, crunch. That's Jim Leyritz with a 3-run blast as the Yankees ride a 4-run lead into the late innings and hang on for a 9-1 victory over Baltimore. So it was up to the Blue Jays tonight visiting Brewtown. Pat Henkin on the bump for Toronto, and in the first, he blows one past Darrell Hamilton, and they are still scoreless. But in the second, former Brewer and Blue Jay MVP Paul Molitor crushes one to left. It's a solo shot from Molitor, and the Jays lead 1-0. Move on to the ninth. Bluebirds still in front 2-0. Here's the final out, and let the celebration begin. The Jays are officially the champions of the American League East. The Texas Rangers bubble burst in Chicago tonight. They were eliminated when the White Sox beat Seattle. Bo Jackson delivering the big blow. Here it is, a 3-run towering home run in the 6th inning. The White Sox celebrating their first divisional title since 1983 with a 4-2 win. Other scores, Red Sox rained out tonight. Cleveland beating Kansas City in the 8th, and Minnesota all over the Angels in the 9th inning. There will be no clinching of the National League tonight. The closest any team could get would be a guaranteed tie for the divisional title, and that would be the Phillies. They need a win in Pittsburgh and an Expos loss in Florida. We will start in the Steel City, where the weather was more suitable for football tonight, perhaps, but the Phils still had the hot bats. Mariano Duncan, with no score in the 4th, rips one the other way, and it just keeps going. That's a solo shot. Phils lead 1-0. And moments later, Dave Hollins adds the RBI double over the head of Andy Van Slyke. John Kruk scores, and Philadelphia scores the 6-4 win, reducing the magic number to 2. To the Fish Bowl we go, where the Expos were hoping to squish the Fish, but the Fish did a little squishing of their own. Jeff Conine singles up Main Street. It plays Henry Cotto, and Florida jumps ahead 1-0 in the 1st inning. It is the same story in the 3rd when Gary Sheffield, who's on the brink of signing a $5 million contract with the Marlins, beats out the throw, picks up an RBI in the process. The Expos had little luck crossing the plate. Chuck Carr was a big part of that with this perfect throw from center field. 3-1 was the final, so it's time to flip over the Expos. They are just about done. Other games, the Giants trying to climb within 1 game of the idle Atlanta Braves tonight. They lead 2-0 in the 3rd. Chicago over LA 3-0 in the 2nd. St. Louis has beaten the Mets. We may soon be calling them the Hartford Patriots. The Connecticut State Senate tonight gave thumbs up to a proposed $252 million football stadium for Hartford. The plan, of course, to lure the Pats out of Foxborough. 2 things now have to take place for construction to begin. First, the Patriots would have to sign a 30-year lease with Hartford, And second, the Pats' current lease with Foxborough, which doesn't expire until 2002, would have to be bought out. And plans are already in the works for that. So it may be over. The Patriots may be heading out of Foxborough and heading to Hartford.
Are those Jets or Giants fans that be coming out of Connecticut? I mean, would they be losing fans to the Jets and Giants in Connecticut?
I don't necessarily think so, no.
All right. Just curious. Thanks.
And later in See, Save, and Sample, a movie based on the real-life story of a woman who hated girls and reacted violently when she gave birth to daughters.
When we come back, word that our worries about the quality of our water may actually be well-founded. In case you missed it earlier today, according to the watchdog group Natural Resources Defense Council, water systems throughout the country violate federal regulations. Most of the violations involve failure to test water quality, report contamination, and follow treatment methods.
And Liz, each year more than 1.5 million Americans suffer heart attacks. And now there's a drug that improves the survival rates by more than 20%. Food and Drug Administration has cleared the use of Capitan for people who suffer heart attacks. The drug is used for high blood pressure, but researchers found that it also can be used to reduce the burden on a damaged heart, thus improving survival odds and even chances for recovery.
And Marty, there is promising news on a new medical treatment that uses blood from an umbilical cord that could save lives. Doctors transplanted the blood cells into a 3-year-old leukemia patient who seems to be responding well to the treatment. Now, researchers say this is very important because, unlike other such procedures, this blood came from a specialized blood bank instead of a sibling. That could also provide an alternative to bone marrow transplants.
You're important to our news team. If you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. Call our tips phone, 346-TIPS. If you're on the road, just press *6, send on a cell phone. Comes right here, free of charge to you.
Just ahead in See, Save, and Sample, learning the art of fly tying.
Or, if you're a little more daring, we'll tell you where you can go to compete in rollerblade racing. Stay with us.
You're watching News Center 6, new at 11 on WRGB.
And it's time now for our fast-forward look at everything you need to know for tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And we begin with a fast look at some of what you'll be reading on tomorrow's front pages. The Daily Gazette reports that children in Fulton and Montgomery counties are being admitted to hospitals with preventable diseases at 3 times the going rate of other kids in New York State. The paper explores the reasons why and some possible solutions. The Record has details on the latest verbal battles between the candidates for Rensselaer County Executive. The two traded charges today concerning the future of the Sheriff's Department's road patrols. In the Saratogian, we'll take a look at the meeting slated for tomorrow night to help coordinate booster efforts to pay for postseason athletics. This year's school budget does not cover postseason play for school champions.
And taking